Hey friends, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Melissa. I'm a former teacher turned homeschooling mom of four. Today, I want to share the reason why we chose to homeschool our kids. After spending years in the education system, I realized that the traditional route just was not what we wanted for our kids. And here's the thing, I know so many other parents feel the same way. The fact that homeschooling has been growing across the US and worldwide just goes to show that this is not an isolated idea. So, today, let's chat about why more families, including mine, are choosing to homeschool. In the last few years, especially post pandemic, more families than ever are choosing to homeschool. According to data that I've seen from 2023 and 2024, nearly 6 to 7% of US families have chosen to homeschool their kids. That's 3.7 million kids. That's a huge increase compared to just a few years ago, and it's continuing to grow. Now, we're not going to jump to conclusions here. There's no one size fits all reason for this shift, but many parents like me feel like the traditional school system just isn't providing the challenge or motivation our kids need in this ever changing world. And we want to raise critical thinkers, problem solvers, and kids who are genuinely excited about learning. Unfortunately, I didn't see that happening in the classrooms where I was, even though I was trying really hard to meet those needs in my students. So let's dive into some of these reasons that our family chose. For every family, this is going to be different, but the reason we chose to homeschool starts with the ability to go deeper on certain topics that our kids were really interested in. In the traditional classroom, you guys remember how this was, right? Textbooks, you're going unit by unit, chapter by chapter, and just kind of ticking those boxes. There's really just a rail, you're on this railroad, and you are not getting off until the textbook is done. But what happens if you want to take a pit stop? If you want to go on a tour in that town where the railroad is passing through? Forgive the analogy here, but there's really no room to go beyond what's required for each grade level. I love a good standard. I love knowing what's typical, what's next, what could come next. But that's not always the best step. At home, we can spend as much or as little time as we want to on certain topics. We can go beyond the basics and explore subjects like coding and advanced science and history, depending on my kids' interests. The flexibility is priceless. Let me give you one example. We use The Good and the Beautiful for language arts. I know many of you watching this use it as well. Great curriculum. I really like it. I like the rigor. I like the breadth of what's covered. I like that there's geography and spelling and reading and all the jazz. But sentence diagramming, like my kids know the parts of speech. They know like detailed parts of speech. They can figure out what's a dependent and independent clause, right? They know articles. They know lots of different things about sentence diagramming and the different parts of speech. Yet, do they need to know about sentence diagramming? I don't know that they do. So this is one of these things where if they're not into it, I'm not going to force them to do a worksheet on something that is just completely not necessary. If you've got a different opinion, I would love to hear your thoughts on sentence diagramming in the comments. Bring it on, friends. Let's have that debate. If there's a topic that you choose to sidestep, please also leave that in the comments. I would love to see what you guys choose to miss in your homeschool curriculum. Another huge benefit to homeschooling for us has been the freedom that it gives us as a family. Homeschooling has allowed us to free up time and resources to spend on things that truly matter to us. Instead of following the traditional school day schedule where, you're rushing to eat breakfast, you're throwing things in the backpack, you're feeling stressed about your outfit, whatever, just things that I remember. We've got more time for family bonding. We've got activities, we've got experiences that my kids love. It also gives them freedom to do some of those things that, if you're running to sports and back to activities at the school and kind of abiding by their schedule, it's not something that you've got room to say yes to knitting for a little while or working on a craft or creating a card for someone. Those things just seem to get pushed to the side. For our family, some of those things that my kids love and kind of step into are like art, having time to create art projects, music, playing a bunch of different instruments and really going deep into some of them, like a random mandolin interest. I mean, that's pretty cool to see a kid want to play mandolin. I love that that's happened. And also the freedom to go big into a sport, right? Extra practices, another hour of extra practice during the week often would kind of conflict with, oh, we've just got too much homework right now, or, oh, we've got midterms right now. No, that's fine. Go for it, right? Just giving them the chance to do that. I would also not want to miss the idea of play. Let kids be ridiculous. The room that I'm currently sitting in, it might look like a nice and put together corner, but it is just that, a corner. All of our craft projects and things that my kids have created, just because they've got time. I've got an organizational system set up by one of my kids that's made purely out of cardboard boxes. It is not aesthetic, but it's something that she put together that she loves and it works for her. So again, things that wouldn't have happened if we had this boom, boom, boom traditional school schedule. One more thing that I'm really glad that we kind of sidestepped with the decision to homeschool is being forced to spend money on school uniforms or the newest backpacks and school supplies that come with kind of the traditional school year, right? We invest in materials that support our kids' individual interests. This makes learning feel a lot more meaningful and exciting, and it helps them grow in areas that they're truly passionate about, not necessarily just the blue one subject notebook that their teacher is asking them to get, right? We can spend that money on something else, a fun type of clay, a new basketball, something like that, that really speaks to what they're excited about. This next one was something I did not anticipate at all, but it kind of makes sense. It's logical. Homeschooling has brought us closer as a family. We're able to spend quality time together, whether that's like structured class time, my husband helping the kids in math, or me working with them in language arts and some of the other subjects that we're working on, or when we're out exploring the world, because we have that freedom, that flexibility to do it. Homeschooling is not just about academics. Although a lot of homeschooled kids really excel at academics, I think there's a little bit of like a secret sauce in there where you're giving them the opportunity to really make bonds, to develop those social skills, even though the world will tell you that they are the most unsocial kids ever. I think it's really cool to see them kind of blossom and grow in other social aspects where they wouldn't normally have the opportunity in a traditional classroom. They're growing into kind of confident and well-rounded kids without a lot of the other influences coming their way. And the beauty of it is this learning doesn't just have to stay at the kitchen table or at their desk, right? This is something that can really go out into the world. Something I love to remember here is that we're teaching kids so that they can go out and be great humans, right? Whether they're a scientist or a doctor or a teacher or something else in the world, what we're really focused on is the fact that they are one day going to be perhaps a spouse. Maybe they're going to be a parent. What we're training them up to be is a great human, not necessarily just someone who, got on the honor roll. When I think about what I want my future potential son or daughter-in-law to say about my kid, what attracted them to my kid, I don't expect them to say, oh, it's because they got this scholarship to this school. I want it to likely be something more intangible, something like their kindness or their generosity or their wit, right? This is something that is much more important to us. And part of the reason, kind of like an indirect benefit of homeschooling, has been that perspective shift. Hey guys, Melissa from the future here, popping in because in case you're like me and you're looking for a really solid way to cover history and social studies with your kindergartner, your first grader, I've got it for you, okay? This is it. This is called History Detectives Level 1, and it's by Knowable World, today's video sponsor. It's a full year of lessons about history, social studies, and even geography. Look at these lesson topics. They're even learning about their own address and where they live in the world. They're learning map skills. They're learning about how the world has changed over time, and they're talking about food and clothing. Look at this activity. It's called Do You Want It or Need It? That's such a great topic for a kindergartner. You guys, this program is so easy to use. You watch the videos together and you do the activities. And there are more activities like bonus if your child is really interested in that topic. So you get a whole year of lessons like this, one a week. The regular price is $89. That's one time. So you can use it for all your kids for that price. Amazing. But I have a discount for you. If you're watching this video, you actually get $15 off. That's amazing. It's a great deal, so I'll go ahead and put it in the show notes. Thanks again to Knowable World for sponsoring today's video. All right, you guys, this is why we chose to homeschool. After years of teaching in the system, I wanted something different for our kids. My husband and I have chosen to make this something a lot more flexible, more challenging in a lot of ways, and much more engaging than the traditional school system probably would have been for our kids. Homeschooling has given us the opportunity to grow as a family and dive into meaningful relationships with our kids, whereas often we would have felt that stretch with their school schedules. We've been able to do the learning together, and I think that has really benefited our family's dynamic. I know homeschooling is not for everyone, you guys, but for our family, it's been a beautiful and rewarding journey. If you're considering homeschooling or you just want to learn a little bit more about how it works, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if this was helpful to you and maybe considering homeschooling, or perhaps you want to send this to a friend who's considering it, do consider sending this over, but also please make sure that you are subscribed and that you've liked this video. I would love to be sure that you get more homeschooling tips, routines, and curriculum ideas. You guys, if nobody's told you yet today, thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. It's really important. Happy teaching.